Okay. Greetings, family. This is Cassandra Floyd, also known as Daughter of the Fates. It's so funny that I would start this right as the alarm to our garage opener is going off. I hope you can't hear that in the background. But anyway, it's been a very long time since I've done live, and this is a part of the very necessary Plutonian Scorpion purge that must be done. I have so much that has been coming in as input with no equilibrium in output, and I feel like that's what's been stressing me the fuck out. Um, so hopefully somebody will stop the freaking alarm soon. Anyway, so again, this is Iyapo, formerly Iyapo, Cassandra Floyd, Daughter of the Fates. Today, as implied by the title, we are going to be talking about a subject that I've wanted to talk about for some time, and I know it's going to take some time to move through this discussion. So that's why I've put it as a part one. I really want to try to be a lot more deliberate about keeping these keeping these a little bit shorter. But the reason that this topic is important is for a number of reasons. Though I think the most pressing one, which I'm going to do a separate video about, is this revelation that's occurred in Los Angeles, where three Mexican members of the city council, were caught, recorded in a meeting, in a closed door meeting, making extraordinarily belligerent and racist statements about Black people and dark skinned people, i.e., brothers and sisters from Oaxaca, Mexico. And some of those statements were violent. Some of the I'll tell you, when I heard the audio, I'm getting chills just telling you. When I heard the audio of it, um, I cannot believe nobody's going to turn this alarm on. When I heard the audio of these city council people, Mexican city council people, saying what they were saying about a 3-year-old Black child, um, I could have easily heard that conversation in a closed door Klan meeting among good old boys in Mississippi where I grew up. That's how nasty it was. And so I think the original fallout, people wanting to demonstrate, they were showing up at the council people's homes demonstrating, whatever, was because these weren't self proclaimed far right Republican Mexican city council people. These were the so called progressives among the city council people. These were the Democrats among the city council people. And so everybody was acting so confused and dismayed and disheartened by this revelation. And people wanted me to feel the same way. And I don't feel the same way. I did not feel the same way. I didn't participate in any of the demonstrations. And I'll tell you why. It is because I am crystal clear about what I have been experiencing in so called progressive LA. If anybody is primed to understand the complexities and the nuances of the myriad of ways that uh, racism, white nationalism, anti-blackness shows its face. It is a Black woman born and raised in Alabama whose family members are from Mississippi and Louisiana, right? Who spent 15 years of her early adult life in Florida. Like, and so I used to get really frustrated with people here when they would attempt to reduce what I was experiencing to something else, that I couldn't possibly be experiencing racism out here. It had to be something else that I just didn't understand. You understand what I'm saying? And so these three council people, Mexican, progressive, Democrat, Mexicans on the city council, coming out and validating my real ongoing lived experience in this city among progressives. mm, um, it just validated what I was already experiencing. So it wasn't shocking to me that that happened. Plus, it's not a personal thing for me. For me, it was a validation of what I was experiencing in this city in terms of the missing Black people. Now, people can call it whatever they want, Black erasure. They got all these cute little fancy names incurring on. You understand? But at the end of the day, and this is a discussion we'll have to have later, when I was working for one of the mayoral candidates, managing her campaign, the first thing that I did was to create a research team so that I could take a crash course in the history of LA so that I could actually make sense of what I had been experiencing culturally in the city, right? Like how the LA that I grew up seeing on TV in Alabama, all my favorite musicians, all my favorite artists, everything culturally awesome and dynamic happening in LA. So when I got here, and that image that I had of LA did not match what I was experiencing in real time. I'm like, what the hell is going on in LA? What the hell happened to LA? And this was ongoing. I'm like, where are the Black people at? You got to go looking for Black people in LA. It ain't like just Black people just walking around Hollywood, Black people just walking around downtown. You got to go looking for Black people. I was like, this ain't the LA I grew up seeing on TV. So I'm trying to, in my mind, just culturally make sense of what I was experiencing. It wasn't until I started working on this mayoral campaign and had these people doing research about the history of this city for the last 50 years and seeing how demographically the city had changed and what was giving rise to those drastic demographic changes, that I became clear that what was happening on city council was responsible for the forceful removal and disappearing of Black people in this city. In this city, Los Angeles City, this is based on the research that we did as this research team under this candidate. In the city of LA, not that county, in the city, Black people make up less than 8% of the population today. The last census, I think the last census that was done, that's been published, was in 2020. The last census that had been done, there were approximately 335,000 Black people in the city of LA, baby. Okay? And that year was the first reported growth of the Black population in 20 years. I see what I see it. In 20 years, it was the first population growth of the Black population in the city of LA. In the city of LA since 2000, the Black population is the only population that has experienced a gradual decline, a decline in its population every single year since the year 2000 until 2020, when it experienced its first population growth. Now, that ain't even the coup d'etat. Walk with me, okay? We do this this demographic research for this campaign, and baby, when I say they talking about Black erasure in this city, that's the term that they're using right now. It is, in my estimation, the absolute palpable, visible definition of genocide, what has happened in this city. In the year 2000, according to this city's own statistics and census, In the year 2000, there were approximately 992,000 Black people in the city. There were almost 1 million Black people in the city of LA, not the county, in the city of LA in the year 2000. So from 2000 to 2020, you have the unexplained disappearance of 600,000 people, Black folks. And ain't nobody asked a question. It's not the thing that is on the tongues of every single representative in the city. Black, white, red, Asian. You understand? Not one. We are in the height of a mayoral campaign with a Black woman running against a white billionaire. These are the two. You understand? And no one, there were 12 candidates up until the vote in June. And not one, even the one I was working for, could say on a regular basis, what the hell has happened to the Black population of the city of Los Angeles? How has that disappearance impacted every single aspect of this city, culturally, economically, vibrantly, the homeless population? How has it impacted the entire landscape of this city? And how has that disappearance been something that has been orchestrated through the policies of power holders in this city, appointed, elected power holders in the city? So when you have 3 council people who get, quote, conveniently caught, recorded, having a conversation that is nothing short of straight up white nationalism. It ain't racism. It is straight up white nationalism. And make no, I don't mince words. I'm not making any mistakes in what I am saying. What I am saying is when you have anyone, I don't give a damn what color they are, because we act confused. We act confused when we see a Kanye West or Candace Owens or melanated council people. And every time they open their mouth, white power comes out. We get confused because we can't call them racist. Racism is not the issue. Power is the issue. Power is the issue. And our proximity to it is the issue. So the reason I entitled this thing White Proximity versus Black Body Proximity is because this is just one issue. And like I said, it's going to be mailed out in parts. But people are still acting confused. I'm still hearing all kind of confused conversations about what the hell is happening with the city council here, right? Tavis Smiley is about to interview Kevin De Leon on his show on Tuesday. For what? For what? To give platform to what? What can he possibly say to undo his contribution to that conversation, his participation in that conversation? And not only that, the fact that what he said out of his mouth, how he contributed out of his mouth, how, what's her name? What's the girl's name? I forget her name. But the other city council woman, whatever her name is, and whatever the other dude's name is, I should be more primed for that. But I don't care. It's nuance at this point. At the end of the day, their antagonisms displayed in this meeting isn't about what came out of their mouth. It is about how that ideology that is in their brain presents itself in policy. I don't give a fuck what nobody think in their brain. I don't care about racism. I don't. I hear everybody around me is like, oh, but the racist. The one thing, probably more than anything, that I am grateful to for having, developed my ideological consciousness in the Uhuru movement is that the chairman, Omali Yeshitela, deaded that shit for me a long time ago. Like the chairman, used to say all the time, I am not interested in a conversation about racism. I don't give a damn about the ideas in the brains of white people and how they feel about people of color and vice versa, for that matter. The issue is always the same. Race emerged from the same issue. It is about power. It is about power domination. It is about hierarchical top-down domination that in this period has presented itself as race politics. But a white person homeless on the streets of LA who might even have racist ideas in their brain does not have power, does not have the power to impact my life directly. Don't. So why would I be concerned, even take an attitude or get in my feelings about the ideas in the mind of one white person and how they see me when they don't have the power to use those ideas to impact my life negatively? The issue is power. The issue, even when I was running this campaign for this woman, you know what I'm saying? This was an ongoing struggle with this woman. And that's why her ass is not in the race right now. And she could have been. It is because whiteness, man, is an infectious fucking disease that we all have to purge our consciousness from. Not just white people, as we've seen in this contradiction with our city council, Mexican people, Black people, as in Kanye West and Candace Owens, other melanated people, Asian people, people from around the damn planet have to purge the malignancy of white supremacy in their brains if we are to move forward in a way that benefits all of us. So even when I talk about white nationalism, white supremacy, when I talk about these things, I am not making a charge, of white people as individuals. I'm not. Because at the end of the day, this version of patriarchy that we are confronted with is the most recent face of patriarchy. You understand what I'm saying? So right now, the most recent face of patriarchy is white. That's all. But there are other instances in history where the face presented in patriarchy has been colored of some sort or another. Asian patriarchy and imperialism, African patriarchy and imperialism. This is just the current face of patriarchy, white supremacy, white male father domination, the Catholic Church, and what have you. You understand what I'm saying? And so, but at the end of the day, if we do not understand, one, that the concept, the construct of race as a political tool and weapon is relatively new in human history. I think I read somewhere that there was a Catholic monk who wrote for the first time in like 1412, the first documents that categorized race in a hierarchical way to justify, no, it was 1490, right? Or something like that. It was the first time that race had been a construct used politically as a weapon. Okay? So I don't get caught up on that shit. What I am caught up on is understanding what we are looking at in real time. I've said this before, I will reiterate again. I do not get caught up in conversations about racism. I do not get caught up in my feelings and emotionally triggered in conversations about colorism. I do not even get in my feelings about conversations that center around, quote, anti-blackness. I do not care if you are a racist. I do not care if you are anti-black. I do not care about colorism in Hollywood. I don't. What I care about is proximity to power, okay? And how do we use that understanding to change the world? So when we talk about black body and white body proximity, as the title implies, I want to be specific about what I am talking about, okay? I have two diagrams that I'm going to show you. One was a presentation made on TikTok by a young woman named Misha. I don't know what her last name is. Maybe it's Lima because it's at Misha Lima, Mishlema. She did this wonderful chart. Her whole presentation was on black men and white women, quote, deserving each other. And she tried to explain it in a way that we use like pondit charts, right, to explain genetics and stuff. And unfortunately, y'all are going to see this backwards. I don't even know how to flip it to where y'all don't see it backwards. But maybe I'll have to rewrite it backwards. But anyway, so I'm going to talk to you about this really quick. So this is the chart that she made, and I want to expand on it. Okay, now she was talking about the aggressions that come from white women and black men, right? So if you're looking at this chart, you can see what I'm talking about. Up here at the top, she has race, okay, as big R, and gender as little g, okay? And then she has this chart that talks about the relationships with them all. So up here I've written big R, big G is white male, and little r, little g is black female. And then she goes on to talk about, you see here, I've just written out what she said. I'll put the link to her TikTok because it was really good. The straight line that I've drawn, this is not on her chart, is about closest in proximity, and the dotted line is furthest in their relationships, right? Okay, and then also this is something that I added, and I will explain why, the cross and the negative, okay? Or the positive and the negative, okay? Now, what she was saying in short is that black men and white women are closest in proximity to their relationship to white men, which translates to power, okay? White men having created the current world system, the current expression of patriarchy, which is white and male. That's the apex of power, okay? And so black men sharing one trait with white men, which is gender, and white women sharing one trait with white men, which is race, is the reason, at least in her estimation, that the attraction for black men and white women expresses itself the way that it does. Her explanation is them in their proximity to whiteness, to power, right? To white masculinity, to power, and them sharing in common a trait with power. Their proximity, they attempt to resolve in relationships with one another the trait that they are missing in proximity to power. However, they also both share a trait in common with those that are seen as the least empowered socially, economically, politically, which is black females. So not only do they seek each other out in order to remedy this one missing trait that they have in proximity to power, but they also have to openly express disdain for that trait that they have in common with powerlessness. Now, I'm paraphrasing, but that's what it is. Her estimation, because she's young, her conclusion was like, I made this video to talk about why some black men and white women deserve each other. And that's like a simple way of saying, this disdain, this open hatred that they have to display for black femaleness because they both share a trait in this quote, this perceived powerlessness, and them bonding together to attempt to fill the missing trait that they share in common with whiteness, with maleness, which is in their mind the epitome of power. Do you understand? Now, so this is the graph that I am referencing from this young woman. Her name is Misha, and on TikTok she's at Misha Lima. Okay, I want you to check her out. Her stuff is cool. You know what I'm saying? Now, the reason that I drew the polls on that, because I'm having this discussion all the time. The world that we live in today, I can already hear my brother Abasi, my brother Kamara saying, you're saying too much, but I'm trying to tell you, I got to purge some shit. And if you steal it, fine, you ain't shit. We want to create a world where people move with integrity, even if nobody is watching, or even if they can think they can get away with something, just move with integrity. How about we start changing the world that way? Like base level, like I'm going to move with integrity, even if ain't nobody watching, even if I think it's some shit I can get away with. So I'm telling you now, I have credited young Misha for the little pondit chart that she makes that I think is genius. Now, what I'm about to tell you is mine. Mark this day, 10/23/2022. Cassandra Floyd, daughter of the Fates, said this shit. If you hear anybody else say it, you call they punk asses out, because there's just a bunch of vagabonds laying on the internet looking to steal people's shit. I don't do that. I credit everybody whose shit I use. It ain't hard. We trying to change the world. We're trying to grow. We're trying to evolve. And it requires us to at least hit the starting point, move with high character and integrity. So don't steal my shit. Anyway, so this is a chart that we are all familiar with. This is a picture that we are all familiar with, though I would venture to say it is probably the most singularly misunderstood symbol on earth. It is also the singularly most bastardized and corrupted symbol on earth, and bastardized and corrupted for the sole purpose of validating power imbalance. Okay? Cassandra said that. It has been bastardized and corrupted for the sole purpose of exploiting power and toppling and corrupting power dynamics, harmony, balance, right? And so whenever you ask people, what does the symbol mean? The first thing naturally people will say is it means balance, or it means harmony. And while that is true, it is an extraordinarily oversimplification of what the symbol means. Okay, now according to Taoist theory, which is where this symbol emerged from, I think the general assumption is that Lao Tzu is credited with the creation of this symbol, although because we know that yin yang theory was based in ancient matriarchal China, I would venture, though I have no proof or evidence, I would venture that it was some peasant woman somewhere, some agriculturalist who created the symbol, but I digress, okay? This symbol that people talk about means balance. And when people talk about the symbol, they want to talk about, man and woman. You hear that shit a lot. Divine feminine, sacred masculine. You hear that shit a lot, right? Mother, father. You hear that shit a lot. Wrong. I'm telling you right now, that interpretation is wrong. Now, what gives me the right to say that? Well, 9 years of medical school gives me the right to say that. 4 of those years, well, 5, if you count my undergraduate, 5 of those years was in traditional Chinese medicine. So that's what gives me the right to speak. Chinese professors give me the right to say this. Right? A master's degree, a double degree, a master's degree and a bachelor's degree in traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture, and professional health sciences gives me the authority to say what I just said. Your understanding of yin yang theory as this representing man and woman, mother and father, husband and wife, sacred masculine, divine feminine, the way you understand it is wrong. What is represented in this image right here as the harmony of opposites. You hear what I just said? The harmony of opposites, not antagonisms, not diametrically opposed opposites, diametrically opposed antagonistic opposites. That's not what this is. It is mutually beneficial harmony of opposites. One could not exist without the other, so on and so forth. One gives birth to the other. Okay, now the divine harmony represents, I'm not being funny. I'm taking my time with this because I want you to understand. So nobody can ever tell you no shit like this means good and evil. Do you understand? the way that it's been presented to us. This means black and white, good and evil, and all that bullshit. Okay? The harmony of opposites represented, and because this symbol does represent male and female, harmony between male and female, but it does not represent harmony between husband and wife, man and woman, and all that bullshit we be saying. The harmony of opposites represented by this symbol in terms of masculine and feminine is this. The harmony of opposites between masculine and feminine, represented by the yin and yang in yin yang theory, is the harmony between mother and son. Okay? Why is that an important distinction to make? Because this symbol that has been corrupted to justify power, inhumane power dynamics, in this theory, and so this symbol here is used actually in practice as a diagnostic tool. You can use this as a tool to diagnose disharmonies, imbalances within the self or within the organs or what have you. So this symbol is important. It's important to understand its true meaning. The white with a little bit of yin inside, right, represents a sun that is grounded by, protected by, quote, anchored by its mother. The white inside the yin, baby, the white inside the yin is that spark of life that comes from her. We got it messed up, right? So yin, and Lao Tzu himself, as a matter of fact, said, in all things, embrace the yin. In all things, embrace the yin. Now that means, what that means is that in yang theory, yang is exuberant. Yang is overpowering. Yang is destructive in nature. Yang is always destructive in nature. If yang is not bridled by, anchored by its mother, it becomes destructive. That's it. Lao Tzu said, in all things embrace the yin. If you show up for the mother, the son will be well. But if the son is left unbridled, unanchored by the mother, it becomes what we call utmost yang. So utmost yang is like noon. I really wish I could do this faster. But anyway, it's noontime. So imagine a world where it was noon all the time. There was never any night. There was never any moon. It was always noon. It wouldn't take but about a week for the whole world to be scorched and look like every other desolate planet close to the sun, right? It wouldn't take long. It would take a week, right? If there was no night, if there was no shift on our planet and night couldn't exist, if it was just utmost yang. Now, why am I talking to y'all about this in terms of black body and white body proximity? Because this symbol here is everything. In yin yang theory, this symbol is the symbol of the entire universe and its relationship with itself. The entire universe is both yin and yang, has both yin and yang, creates both yin and yang, emanates both yin and yang, moves with yin and yang. You understand what I'm saying? So if you have utmost yang, which is the world, the political world we are living in right now, listen to what I'm saying and how theory applies everywhere. We are living in a period of utmost yang. What does that mean? Even our symbologies tell us that we live in a world. This is the utmost yang right here, this extreme pole, which is why I have this cross up here, this extreme pole. This space right here is the extreme opposite pole, the negative pole, right? This pole represents utmost yang, white and male, okay? This extreme pole represents utmost yin, black and female, the mother, okay? So if you have a yang that is unbridled, meaning utmost, no yin present nowhere else, no yin control, no yin anchoring, right? Then you will have, okay, so in the environment, what do we see are evidences of utmost yang out of control? Desertification, the drying up of bodies of water, the cutting down of trees, the burning up of trees, the pollution, the radical pollution of the water. What happens when yang is unbridled, unanchored by its mother? When I mean it becomes destructive, I mean you think about a fire. A fire is yang in nature, right? When that fire is not controlled or anchored by yin, it consumes everything yin. Wood, water, it'll dry up water if the balance is off, right? You see deserts that used to be forests, right? And so here we live in a world defined, created by, and I'll say this, the face, the personification of the fulfillment of this period of unbridled yang is this, is the absolute disappearance of the mother, presented by the good old Roman Catholic Church, child. It is what? The personification of this in the real world, in the political, social, economic world is what? God the Son, God the Father, and God the Holy Spirit. This is unbridled, utmost yang in real time. And so in a world defined by the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and the mother is absolutely removed, you have exactly what we're experiencing real time. Screaming about the hole in the ozone layer and polluted oceans and, and extincted animals and all things yin being completely annihilated by an unbridled, unanchored, blazing out of control yang energy. Meanwhile, we, accepting this as the way it's supposed to be, run scared from the Black mother. We run scared from the yin, the utmost yin, the only version of the yin that can subdue and bridle and anchor the sun gone astray, child. I hope I'm making sense, because you cannot have a conversation about colorism, about racism, about any of these isms, about misogyny, about patriarchy, without talking about this right here. And if God, I'll take it one step further. I'm sharing with you too much, but I'll take it one step further. The only way to restore in this medicine and a disharmony or an imbalance is what? What is Chinese medicine's philosophy on treating any kind of condition? The harmony of opposites. So you have to treat a condition that presents a certain way with its opposite. If you have a cold that is presenting hot with fever, red face, or rapid pulse, green mucus coming out of your nose, a sore throat, these are all hot signs. You treat with cool herbs when you have extremely hot condition, and vice versa. If you have a cold where you're having clear mucus coming out of your nose, no sore throat, no fever, slow pulse, chills, that's a cold. You would treat with warm or hot herbs to restore harmony. So how do we diagnose the herbs, y'all? The earth is suffering from a hot condition. We call it global warming, but what is its fuel, baby? What is the ideology behind what gave rise to global warming? Be honest. It's white father dominated supremacy of the entire planet in general, and that institution subduing the dark mother in particular. And I'm not just talking about Black women, I am talking about the earth, that dark mother, that dark mother. And then subsequent, her her first children, Black women, right? And so when we start talking, and I'll say this too, if Father, God, Son worship is the center of this process that we're involved in, then the only cure for that process is the antithesis. You hear what I just said? It's the antithesis. What does that mean? What does that mean? Somebody say, what is the antithesis? Y'all ain't gonna like it, but I said it here first, and I say it out loud. That shit y'all stay running from is the only thing that is going to save you, child. If Christ is the personification of global disharmony, then the only solution is the Antichrist. And who is that? If it is not the collective energy of the Black mother regaining her seat on the throne on the fucking planet. That's it. Now you can say something else. And now that I've said Christ consciousness is the personification of patriarchy on the world, it is. The Roman Catholic Church, the male mother of the whole planet. There are more Catholics on the planet than any other damn religion. And they all dark Catholics. They all dark-skinned, oppressed people who are Catholics, who are creating, who are giving their energy, their vital energy to this beast up here. Then the Antichrist is the only solution in the face of the Antichrist. Because Christ, is not, I'm sorry. Maybe that's a discussion for another day. But anyway, so keeping this in mind, when I'm talking to you about Black body, white body proximity, this is the world that we live in. This is the world created by the few to maintain a hegemony over the life force of others, to reduce them to something less than God, to exploit their labor, to create life and real life for themselves. Nobody on this planet is poor. No one. 7.5 billion, there are going to be 8 billion people on the planet come January 1st. Not one person on the planet is poor. They have been robbed and they have been exploited of the wealth that they have created. That's it. They're wealthy. They're abundant. Their abundance has been stolen. Their wealth has been stolen. Their labor has been stolen. Right? This is the dichotomy. So she making it about, interracial relationships between Black men and white women and their proximity to, quote, the face of power. But I've talked to you guys, and their hatred, their disdain for the thing that ties them to what they perceive as powerlessness, right? That's why all these dudes be out here spitting venom on Black women. You understand? It's because it is because their proximity to power, they welcome, but they are enraged by what they perceive as their proximity to powerlessness. And the face of that powerlessness for both Black men and white women is Black women. And I will just say, based on the yin and yang, that ain't just about Black and white. The poles are Black and white. The opposites are Black and white. But right up in her is all of those of you who rest in the space between. Y'all all fit in here. All genders, all races, all classes, let me just write that down, child, because I just had a moment. Races, genders, classes, all of these things that y'all want to make the primary contradiction rest between these poles, not in spite of, between these poles is where these struggles lie. To resolve this imbalance or this disharmony is to resolve all of those disharmonies that are symptomatic of this primary issue. The son run amok, the son betraying his mother, the son subduing and conquering his mother, the son, and all of the myths talk about, every myth in every culture talks about this. The rise of the sun/son, and the fulfillment of his power quest is to slay his mother. The image of his mother being the serpent, the dragon, the dark, she who rests in the center of the mother's belly. Honey, these stories don't emerge in a vacuum. These stories, these so-called mythologies, emerge within the context of very real political history. And so while all y'all get all caught up in all of these little discussions as a way to again negate the significance of placing Black women where they goddamn well deserve to be, is at the head of political struggles. And you count on it. You count on our power, but you still deny us power. You want us to power up your shit, but you still want us to pay back roll. You want us to be a little less loud in our presentation, a little less angry in our presentation. But the mothers of the planet are watching her children destroy the planet. So I'm just telling you what it is. You don't have to rock with it, but I'm telling you, all of you who rest between here, all races, all genders, all classes rest between this dynamic that exists here, this horrible imbalance imposed on the world right here. All the solutions rest right here. You understand what I'm telling you? And I'm telling you what I'm seeing with these discussions, the distractionary, diversionary, divisionary tactics around racism and colorism and all of that bullshit. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do, to be a distraction. Because at the end of the day, I even watched this thing today on the history of colorism in Colombia. Baby, it's straight up caste systems. I'm gonna say it over and over again. It's straight up caste systems based on these what have been forced to be opposing forces, created to be opposing forces, not mutually beneficial, not the harmony of opposites, where the mother, through love, anchors the son, makes the son's energy now beneficial, healing. The sun, the sun, is only healing because of the mother. It is the earth that allows so much UV rays in that it becomes beneficial, helpful, grows things, empowers us, gives us energy. It's the mother that allows just enough of the sun's energy to come in and make our planet look like the wonderful blue ball that it is, with all the green and the lush and the animals and everything able to sustain life. It's the mother that does that. You understand what I'm saying? Because otherwise, if it wasn't for what we call the mother's breath, the atmosphere, the mother's breath, which is what? Water, which is what? Yin. If it wasn't for the mother's breath, our planet would look like Mars. It is a mother that does. Anybody denying that the earth is a sentient being, intelligent, sentient entity, is a fool. You are a fool. This is the dynamic. And so you getting stuck on colorism, everything. Colorism is about your proximity to whiteness and what you perceive as power, or your proximity to blackness and your disdain for it. I'm sitting here watching a freaking documentary the other day about this, quote, brown woman movement in India, where of course, because of the caste system, the darker skinned you are, let me just rephrase that. Your proximity to blackness determines, almost guarantees your failure, your inaccessibility to adequate health care and housing and quality of life. Your proximity to blackness is what is damn near to ensure your inability to even be visible in society, hence why they call the invisibles. So these young girls got this movement where they're trying to do like what we was doing in the 60s, like a black and proud movement, but they're calling it brown and proud. Some of these women are 10 shades darker than I am, but because they got straight hair, because they still have this proximity to whiteness, they would call themselves anything but black. Black, I mean, beautiful black young girls, dark like the sky. And this shit is so deeply ingrained on every square inch of the planet Earth. The hatred of blackness in general and the devastating hatred of blackness and femininity in particular dominates the whole globe. Even where white people ain't in mass. Japan is 98.6 and 98% Japanese. Yet, white supremacy still exists in the consciousness of every single person in Japan. Does, or they wouldn't be bleaching their hair and rounding out the corners of their eyes so they look less Asian, or it's bleaching their skin so they look like they have internalized that their proximity to whiteness, even in a homogenous country, guarantees them, ensures them success. China, same way. Korea, same way. So you call it colorism if you want to. It is white supremacy in the consciousness of the entire planet. That consciousness created in direct opposition to blackness. I'm just saying, you have to call a thing a thing. You have to call a thing a thing. This really wasn't where I was trying to go with this, but this is important. It helps you understand all phenomena, health and wellness, political life, sociology, economics. This helps you to understand everything, right? And so the son, and the reason that this is a relationship between mother and son, right? Even I'll draw you one more thing. Even in this conversation, because I like to use Chinese medicine as my frame of reference. I think it's wonderful. And it's easy enough that children can understand. So another diagnostic tool in Chinese medicine that is sometimes partnered with yin-yang theory is the concept of 5 elements theory. So in 5 elements theory, you have the 5 elements, which are fire, earth, I'll do it in orange since you won't see yellow that well, earth, won't see white either, so I'll put that in black, metal, water I do in blue-black because it's not just like water out of your tap, it is primordial water. It's the water deep in the bottom of the ocean floor. So in yin-yang, in 5 elements theory, it's always described as blue-black, like deep oceanic floor, kind of deep primordial waters from where we supposedly all climbed up from and shit, from the primordial abyss. And then lastly, we have wood. Okay? Now, the reason that this is important in a discussion about the harmony of opposites, yin-yang theory, and the like, is because, baby, this shit is brilliant to me. Okay? Let me see what kind of pen am I going to use for this. Let's see. I have a purple or something. All right, so we're going to talk about 2. I didn't realize I was going to be teaching y'all a workshop on Chinese medicine, but if it don't help, then I don't know what to tell you because this shit is brilliant. Okay, so in Chinese medicine, in 5 elements theory, you have 2 cycles, right? So this is it. This is the diagram. You've got fire. You've got fire in this direction: fire, earth, metal, water, wood. Those are your elements. You have 2 cycles. You have what is called the generating. Now this relates to this symbol. This is why I'm telling you this. You have the generating cycle, also known as the birthing cycle. Okay? That is this outside circle that I'm going to draw for you. So fire gives birth to earth. Earth gives birth to metal. Metal gives birth to water. Water gives birth to wood. And wood gives birth to fire. This is called the birthing cycle around the outside of the circle. Fire gives birth to earth. Earth gives birth to metal. Metal gives birth to water. Water gives birth to wood. Wood gives birth to fire. That makes sense. It should make sense. That's pretty self-explanatory. The second cycle in this cycle is called the controlling cycle. So fire, which makes sense, controls metal, right? Metal controls wood, also makes sense. Wood controls earth. Earth controls water. Water controls fire, okay? This internal cycle is called the controlling cycle. The mother controls. The mother gives birth. Okay? The birthing cycle, the controlling cycle. All right? All right, I hope you follow. Okay? So, in a situation, and I will just say one more thing about that. Let's do it this way. So fire, as it would make sense, the organ represented by fire is the heart, okay? The organ represented by earth is the spleen. The organ represented by metal is the lungs. The organ represented by water is the kidneys. And the organ represented by wood is the liver. Is the liver. Okay? And just take it a step further because it'll just make more sense. The heart's yang partner, because each organ has a yin, each element has a yin and a yang organ. So the heart's yang partner is the small intestines. The spleen's yang partner is the stomach. The lungs' yang partner is the large intestine. Water's yang partner is the urinary bladder. And the liver's yang partner is the gallbladder. Okay? Now, I know that was a lot, but I'm just going to tell you why it's important. And it's still a political discussion that we're having. And I hope this is going to blow your mind the way it has mine. Okay? So, you got your organs. So, I say this is a diagnostic tool, right? For 5 elements theory. So, say you have a person who is experiencing, let's see, what's a good one? You have a person that is, let's see, so we got liver here. Yeah. All right, so we got spleen and stomach. Okay, so say we got a person who is having chronic nausea and vomiting, unexplained chronic nausea after every meal, sometimes vomiting, or maybe even just acid regurgitation, okay? Say that is accompanied by nightmares, night terrors, or not even that deep. Let's just say they have insomnia, right? They can't sleep, okay? So acid regurgitation, nausea and vomiting, inability to sleep restfully, wakes 2 or 3 times a night. Okay? What does that mean on this? All right, we've got the controlling cycle and we've got the birthing cycle. So anything to do with nausea and vomiting is going to have some role, obviously, in the spleen and stomach. Okay? The spleen and stomach, and what we call nausea, vomiting, acid regurgitation, is rebellious chi. Chi moving in the wrong direction. Your chi, your food chi, is supposed to move down, all the way down until it comes out of your backside. When the chi is rebellious, you have excessive belching, acid regurgitation, nausea, vomiting. All right, that's the spleen and stomach. In this scenario, in this diagnosis, this is the sun, the SON. This is the sun. What is the mother of the sun in the controlling cycle, or in the generating cycle or the birthing cycle? The heart is the mother to the sun. The heart is what governs our sleep. So when we're having insomnia, dream disturbed sleep, night terrors, we wake 2-3 times, and we don't fall asleep easily, or when we fall asleep, we're restless. All of that is a condition of the heart, because it is said that the heart governs the mind, controls the mind, and makes it restful or calm so that you can get a deep and restful sleep. So the sun is rebellious chi. The sun is rebelling, right? The evidence of a rebellious chi in the stomach is the nausea, the vomiting, excessive belching, whatever, right? The mother is not sleeping, right? She's harassed for some reason, okay? And in this cycle, the mother is the heart, the grandmother is the liver, okay? Now, the grandmother can be too hot because the liver is one of the organs that is most easily irritated by unaddressed emotions. Those emotions being anger, rage, resentment, frustration, depression. Anger, rage, resentment, frustration, depression. Also in those emotions are jealousy and envy. Not talked about as much, but jealousy and envy is a condition or an emotion, a negative emotion of the liver, or that impacts the liver. Anger, rage, resentment, frustration, depression, jealousy, and envy. When those emotions left unexpressed and unresolved impact the liver, it creates fire in the liver. Remember what we said? The liver is wood. So it's like throwing more wood on a fire. And what happens when the wood is burning and the fire is getting too hot? It rises up. It rises up to an element that's already fire, that's already hot. So you have water down here controlling the fire. There's just enough water coming from the water element to keep the fire nutritive, helpful, harmonious, our mental state, clear, clean, right? The water is like, all right, let me send enough water up there to control the fire. When you throw more wood on that fire, the fire is what we call, you can call it fire blazing out of control. These are diagnoses, by the way, right? So fire becomes hotter, which causes a restless mind. That restless mind cannot sleep deep, cannot sleep uninterrupted, may have night terrors if the fire is severe enough. If the fire goes on untreated for a significant period of time, this is the origin of all psychological disorders: mania, manic depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, sociopathy, right? This is it. So too much wood on the fire, fire's blazing out of control. There's not enough water to control or anchor the fire, which is now harassing this sun, causing the sun to be rebellious. What did I say the rebelliousness of the sun is? The nausea, the vomiting, the excessive belching, so on and so forth. Gastroesophageal reflex disorder, partnered with nightmares, night terrors, or a restless sleep, because the grandmother is too hot, is too frustrated, because she doesn't have a healthy outlet for these fucking emotions that she got. She want to cuss somebody out, but she can't because, of what do they call it? Oh my God, what do they call it out here? Anyway, she got to mute her rage. She's got to swallow her rage like hot coals. Justified rage. She look around and she disrespected by everybody all the time. And so imagine an engine. If the engine is, if all the things are moving smooth through the engine will never overheat. But after time, there's sludge that builds up in the engine. Imagine your emotions as the sludge, as the toxic buildup in your engine. Then the engine has to work harder. As the engine works harder, it gets hotter. And then the heat impacts the other mechanisms in the engine. And you can either burn out, throw a rod. What do they call it? Throw a rod, throw a piston, right? But this is the medicine, right? This is how and so when they talk about this diagnosis here, and so I can say, okay, rebellious chi, the son is rebellious, the mother is being affected by the unresolved emotional trauma of the grandmother, the unexpressed, unresolved emotional trauma of the grandmother is impacting the mother, making it so that she does not get a restful sleep. And because she does not get a restful sleep, she is deficient, child. She is deficient. She woke out. She tired. You feel me? And so when she does not have enough energy to nourish the son becomes rebellious. The son becomes rebellious. When she cannot anchor the son, when she cannot govern the son becomes rebellious. These are the diagnoses. The diagnosis, and then the treatment protocol is what? Subdue the son. This is the treatment protocol. I'm telling y'all. Okay, in this scenario that I just told y'all, where mama can't sleep because the grandmama, her unresolved emotional shit is impacting the mama. You understand what I'm saying? And so the mother is depleted. The mother is malnourished. The mother ain't getting no goddamn sleep and shit. And so the son is rebellious. And so the treatment protocol for that is to, one, subdue the son. That's an actual diagnosis, by the way. An actual treatment protocol language, by the way. Subdue the son first, because that's the chief complaint. When somebody come up in there, they're going to be like, damn, every time I eat, I want to vomit, or I'm nauseous, or I'm having acid regurgitation so bad I'm choking in my sleep. Subdue the son to treat the first symptom that they come in complaining about. And no, you know what? I ain't sleeping very good either because I'm so nervous about this acid reflux. So addressing the second complaint, you would nourish the mother. Nourish the mother. And guess what you got to do to grandmama? You got to soothe the grandmother. I'm telling you what I'm $250 goddamn $6,000 in student loan debt for is to soothe the grandmother. This diagnosis right here, inability to get a deep and restful sleep because the son is rebelling, and that rebellion is coming through as acid regurgitation, nausea, vomiting after every meal, excessive belching, because the grandmother has been living a whole life of not being able to express and resolve her pent-up rage, anger, resentment, frustration, depression, envy, and jealousy. And so she's been swallowing that shit, creating sludge in her own body. You understand? And so the treatment protocol is what? This is a political statement, y'all. Is to subdue the son, to nourish and strengthen the mother, and soothe the grandmother. Y'all ain't heard what I just said. Y'all have not heard, because I ain't seen an amen. I ain't seen no freaking one of them come up on the screen. I ain't seen no Black Power fist come up on the screen. Maybe y'all sleep. Maybe it's too late for y'all. But I just gave y'all like some deep and profound wisdom, child, that I know my Chinese professors didn't know I was going to be extracting from them workshops on 5 elements theory, honey. The treatment for the world is what? When you have a horrible imbalance of what should be the harmony of opposites. So you have to subdue the son. Who did I say the son was? Child. Who did I say the son was? in all of its Christ in all of his manifestations. Because I'm talking about all of them. I'm talking about all the Abrahamic religions, boo. Yes, I am. I'm talking about Christ in all of his manifestations. Muhammad, that's a manifestation of Christ consciousness, boo. Whoever the Jews is saying they Messiah gonna be, this is all a personification of the same thing. Son, unbridled, unanchored by the mother. That is it. That is all. So when I talk about a Chinese theory on this, and then even when you read Chinese theory, honey, it has an origin. Now they say it's with the Chinese peasantry of matriarchal China, but I know too many Kemetic priests and historians who know this whole story that I just told y'all is eerily familiar in ancient Kemet. The subduing of the son by the mother to make the son life-giving instead of destructive. You understand? You must subdue the son, nourish and strengthen the mother, and soothe the grandmother in order to restore harmony. Shh, y'all ain't heard. Child, this preaching I'm doing right now. You understand? So don't get it twisted. Do not let these people out here get you caught up in conversations that you can. How do you solve racism? Let me ask you, how do you solve racism? How do you fight racism? How does that happen? How do you change the mind of people whose ideas about race uphold their position in the world? The only thing that can fight racism, baby, is power. That's it. That's it. So I'm not interested in colorism, or I am talking about when we talk about black body and white body proximity in the world and how all of those things rest in between, class is a product of this. Not outside of it, a product of it. You understand? Gender issues are within the context of this dichotomy. I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. When trans women, I'm telling you, I want you to hear me. When trans women talk about how their proximity or how they are more oppressed than cis women or women who are born female, it is a problem. It is a problem because it attempts to demote the significance of this inherent question. Your oppression at the hands of men as trans women is because of your proximity to femaleness. It is because, and if you black and trans, it is because of your proximity to black femininity. Damn it. That's it. Not the other way around. You got a black ass mama who more than likely suffered and endured pure ass hell, not just in her life, but to fucking assure your incarnation. The one thing that all of these motherfuckers got in common, classes, genders, and races, is they all needed a uterus to incarnate. The fulfillment of their destiny could not be without a uterus holding human, a female, born female, accepting a contract with your ancient self to say, yes, you can come through me this time. That's it. So to demote the significance of the mother man, you are the personification of a patriarch. You don't know it. It's okay. I get it, because we all infected with the malignancy of patriarchy. We are all infected with the malignancy of misogyny. We all hate black women in some way, in some degree or another. We all are infected with the madness and the malignancy of anti-blackness and anti-femaleness. I know that the paper is showing backwards for you guys. I don't know how to remedy that on the screen. I'm sorry, but that's why I was trying to go slow. I apologize for that. Maybe I'll have to redo it and just write everything backwards or something. I don't know. But maybe I'll redo it and I'll just try to write slowly and write everything backwards. But you get my drift. Races, genders, classes fall within these poles, and the dynamic period in human history that we are in where these poles, baby, are about to shift. So you cannot fear the Antichrist, honey. The Antichrist is black and the Antichrist is female. You better hear what I'm telling you. And the only people that fear Antichrist, the concept of the Antichrist, are those who have maintained a hegemony over power for almost 6,000 years now. But in particular, these last 2,000 years, they have sat on the immiseration of every incarnate on earth for 2,000 years, and their jig is up. Their jig is up. When they wrote the book of Revelations, they saw crystal clear that we ain't gonna be in power but a hot minute. And when this shit shifts, when they talk about the beast and the sea and the dragon and all, this is all imagery of the female. This is all the imagery of the original black mother, who is always made to be a dragon or a serpent or a leviathan. We are talking about mother deity worship and consciousness that they are fearing. That the only thing with the potential to undo the damage done by 2,000 years of this madness, 6,000 years of patriarchy, 2,000 years of white supremacy, right? Is black and female, is dark and female. And so you have to call a thing a thing. Don't nobody want to call that thing a thing because you all hate black women. And until you can face that shit square on, stop seeing black people as your fucking global charity cases. Black people don't need no goddamn charity from no motherfucking body. Black people need access to their power. They need their power restored. People of color need their power restored, need their freaking resources back in their hands, in their possessions to create solutions for their own issues. Outside the white gaze, outside of every white person's damn near knee-jerk response to be police in everybody's community. The freaking global tattletales and shit. You understand what I'm saying? White people's responsibility is to cover and protect the mother as she makes this struggle for power. That's your role. That's it. That's all. You can't be in the center. Man can't be in the center. Your role, if you are white, male or female, if you are white, your role is to cover and protect while the mother, that's what I just said, y'all, while the mother is restored so she can take power. That's it. That's it. Subdue the son, nourish and strengthen the mother, soothe the grandmother. That's it. If you ain't talking about that, I don't believe that you're saying. I don't believe none of your work. I don't believe nothing that you're involved in. Sorry. That's how I'm seeing all this shit. You understand what I'm saying? Black women, we have work to do. And the work is deep, child. We have to make it look, we have to give it flair because the shit is deep. And otherwise it would run us into the ground. You understand? We have to be having regular ongoing parties, dances, throwdowns and shit to make us, to empower us and shit. But baby, we got work to do. We got spankings to administer. Oh yeah, we do. We got spankings to administer. We got debts to call in. You motherfuckers owe. Y'all all owe. We got debts to call in. Yes, we do. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Mm-hmm. Yep. And we have to be not only audacious, we have to be outright bodacious and belligerent in the expression of our demands. That's what I'm talking about. Fucking tiptoeing timidly around motherfuckers' emotions and shit. Don't nobody give a damn about how we feel, about how we live, about how we are made to live, about how invisibility is imposed on us because everyone is uncomfortable with our truth. Oh no, baby, this ain't the time. This ain't the time for that. And it's been one of my biggest afflictions. I'll be honest, it's been one of my biggest afflictions. But honey, this goddamn full moon that just happened in Scorpio, while Pluto was stationing direct, and here we is in the energy of a goddamn Scorpio eclipse has been kicking my ass. I don't listen. The spirit been on me like stank on shit. Like I don't know what the fuck you going through or what else the fuck you waiting for, but you done received your goddamn orders. So what you gonna do? We don't have time for timid activists. We don't have time for timid mothers. We do not have time for none of that shit you have been hogtied by. You're gonna have to get comfortable with the radical change in your image. You're gonna have to get baby. I wake up every morning saying, okay, spirit, if it's for me, I'm ready to lose friends. And that shit has been happening, baby. That shit has been happening constantly for the last 2 months. But I say every day I'm losing a friend, and I have to be all right with that. Because, I'm the people person. I know people all across the damn country. I have prided myself, defined myself in a lot of ways by my friendships, my ability to make friends, meet people easily, and they gravitate towards me. But, baby, listen, spirit demands, the demands are clear. If you are really about that life, child, activists who want to sovereignty activists, land back activists, all of the things, all of the things, all of that shit is legitimate. It is. It's righteous. That's why I continue to support it. But one, I will not support a single cause from now on that is not equally invested in my fucking future. I am tired of being in spaces where I am constantly self-conscious about how to demonstrate in real time what allyship looks like, how to behave as a ally, how to show up as an ally, but that does not happen in reciprocity with me. And I thank you, Akinke. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. I hate to be in a situation where, as your mama, I can't be your friend. You understand what I'm saying? So is this a lonely road I'm gonna have to walk? You understand? I don't think so, because I think there are enough women out there, women of color, dark-skinned women, black women, who are experiencing in our bodies, man, the same thing. We are experiencing in our bodies an urgency to leap forward for humanity. Everything is telling us this all the time. This shit going on in Iran, baby, it is a charge that is being made by these women, these oppressed, voiceless, faceless women in a country that in the same day is talking about Islamophobia. Goddamn Islam. Goddamn Christianity. Goddamn Judaism. Goddamn Hinduism. Goddamn Buddhism. Any of these isms that have any tenets within them whatsoever that justifies the goddamn oppression of women, goddamn you all, and may they never emerge in human consciousness again. I mean that. Yes, I get it. There will be women who say, but we love Allah, and that's fine. I'm just telling you what it is. I'm just telling you what it is. And people are going to be mad because I say the same thing about Ifa. I love this tradition. But if you are not going to live the tradition the way our mothers created the tradition, then damn that expression of the shit too. I mean this. I don't have no hesitation about none of this shit. Any religion where a man can hide up in that shit and oppress women, fuck it all. I'm telling you, my mother, oh y'all, say destroy all this shit. I don't give a fuck what the traditions are. It is said of all y'all, when she comes on the scene, baby, she comes to change the laws. She comes to change the traditions that we get stuck in. We get hog-tied by. We get confined by. Our voices get imprisoned by this bullshit. All these women, all these children, all these horror stories I've heard over the years as a devotee of E5. Man, fuck out of here. Men cannot lead. This period, men cannot lead. Period. Not except as, not if they do, men cannot lead at all. The proof as a man that you are about this life, that you give a damn about this planet, that you give a damn about your family, that you give a damn about the earth and the future of humanity, is to be able to subdue your fucking ego, to subdue your will and lay it at the feet of your mother. That is it. That is the only evidence. That's the only evidence that I will believe. It is. And if I say, as the mother, as a representative of the she, of the one, you understand? And if I say to you, son, I'm gonna need you because I know your brothers, you understand? Your brothers can't hear right now. Their ears are still plugged with that nonsense of patriarchy and entitlement and shit. They can't hear right now. They can't hear from me. So, son, I'm gonna need you to become the parrot to the will of your mother. That's what I need you to do. And unless you can submit to that, nigga, I ain't trying to hear nothing you talking about. Not none of you. Black, brown, red, yellow, I do not care who you are or what you think your station is in the world. I do not care. I don't care how many dues you think you done paid. I don't care how many years your ass been a priest, baby. I don't care. I don't care. You are all sons to the mother. And in the beginning, baby, there was the mother who gave birth to the son because her daughter, who was herself, needed a companion. Baby, you were all sons before you were ever a father. The mother has always been, will always be. So, men, boys, those who were male when they were born, those carriers of Y chromosomes that still have you out here thinking that you're entitled to everything you lay your eyes on, and all of you in between. When the mother speaks, God damn it, you have two choices. You ain't hearing. When the mother speaks, you got two choices. The choices are simple. To fulfill your destiny or to betray it. That is all. That's the period. When the mother speaks, you got two choices. To fulfill your destiny or to betray it. That's it. So, all of you out here moving along, moving about in the world, I've given so much grace, so much space, because I empathize with your afflictions. I do. So I've given a lot of grace and a lot of space to a lot of people who didn't deserve it. Holding out hope, you understand? That you would show up in the best way because I demonstrate that to you. You understand? There is no more room for grace. None. There is no more room for grace. You are going to move with integrity in the world. You are going to move with integrity in relationships to your fellow humans. That's base level shit. I shouldn't even have to tell you because you have a spirit. You have a consciousness. You understand? You have ancestors. You have evidence all around you for correct behavior. And I'm not talking about ultra morality or no shit like that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about moving with integrity in your relationships with others, doing the right thing even when no one is watching. You understand? Moving with high character. That's why I don't believe half the motherfuckers in E5. I don't. And don't make no qualms about it. To subscribe to a tradition that is simple. Iyapo, live with good character in all things. That's all. And y'all can't even do that. Motherfuckers can't even do that. That's why all y'all is here, baby. That's why Pluto is handing every last one of us our asses right now. Because she like, y'all, child, are y'all built for this shit or not? Are y'all built for this shit or not? Because your ancestors were. The blood running through your veins is evidence that your ancestors was built for this shit. Are you built for this shit? or are you going to betray your destiny? If you are a man and you are not actively engaged in doing battle with those that would speak venom on the names of Black women, child, you are not about this life. I do not need co-signers calling themselves allies. Yeah, what she said. I'm a feminist because I believe women need to be equals to men. This men shit. I done told y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all every time I get up on here, I am not interested in equality with men. Not. I'm not interested in equality with my children, and you are all my children. Oh, I said what I said. You are all my children. You understand? I am my mother's daughter. And she, her mother's daughter. And she, her mother's daughter, all the way back to the one. I am my mother's daughter. You understand? I'm not interested. I'm not interested. It's like, this shit is crunch time. This shit is dire straits that we are in. This is the period where we have to make hard line decisions about what the fuck we are willing to do to change the trajectory of the future that we are involved in. Every minute, every day, every second, every thought, every word, every interaction with every human being that we come into contact is setting the course for the new world. What is the world that we're creating in every moment? With every action, with every word, with every stare, with every glance. What is the world we creating? That's why I don't waste time on bullshit. I don't waste time on discussions about colorism. This is the last time y'all gonna hear me talk about it. I don't waste time on racism. I ain't trying to win ideas in the minds of white people. They gonna follow the fucking line or they not. Just like all the rest of you. This is the period. You're gonna follow the fucking line or you not. You're gonna listen to the commands of your mother or you are not. You are going to listen. You are gonna show up for the representatives of the mother or you are not. That's it. That's it. It's easy. We make it complicated because our enemy has made it complicated. That's the way to disempower you, is to complicate all narratives, complicate all things, mystify all things, hide and make mysterious all things. The epiphany is in the chaos, baby. The solution is in the madness. And I'm just trying to tell you that my mother has brought the storm, baby. My mother has brought the storm. And ain't nobody, even those who have been, charged with securing the traditions of our ancestors, nobody is prepared. Not that I've seen. Nobody is prepared. Nobody is prepared to do what she says. Because we so stuck. We so locked in. We love this shit. I'm convinced that a lot of us love suffering. It's so familiar to us that we love it. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, honey, this shit is going to be more painful than it has to be if you do not comply. You can be mad. Who is this little nappy haired, big nose, black bitch on YouTube telling us we got to fall in line. That if we men, we got to fall in line. We can't lead. Damn straight. I said what I said. You cannot lead shit. Not nothing. If you want to lead, baby, you lead from behind. You understand what I'm telling you? If you have skills, you take your wife and you put her in front. You say, babe, behind closed doors, you say, babe, look, let's have a conversation about what needs to happen. And these are the skills that I can contribute. And you go out and you go on. Oh, y'all ain't ready for that. Y'all ain't ready for that. Put your women up front. Put your sisters, your mothers, your daughters. Give them the skills to lead if you have the ability to teach. That's my daddy did. That's why I can't find a man now. I can't get a man now because y'all hate the fact that my daddy taught his daughter everything he would have taught sons if he had them. Y'all hate power in the hands of women. My dad didn't see it that way. He was just like, man, I ain't got no boys. Let me make sure my girls got it. Let me make sure my babies can be out here on their own, not waiting for a hero for none to show up. And so that thing that my dad imparted on me, right? Because his dad gave it to him. You understand what? That's why I call myself a daughter of the fates. 5 fates. Fate Junior, Fate Senior, Fate the first, Fate the second, 4 senior, four fates. I'm the daughter of the fates. These were men. These were men who were not intimidated by women's power. These were men who were manly men and would still cook whole meals for a whole ass family. Like, that's why I ain't got no patience for you motherfuckers. I know what real men look like. I know what grown goddamn men look like. My dad had an 8th grade education, was still to this day the smartest man I ever met. Genius level smart man. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I ain't got no patience for y'all now. And so now is the time. Now is the time. Now is the time. You understand? I don't know. I didn't mean to go off on this because I was really wanting to just talk about this white body, black body proximity. But it is what it is. Get next to black women, support black women, strengthen black women, nourish black women, and watch this shit crumble before your eyes. And watch as this decaying, rotten, filthy piece of shit makes great fertilizer for birthing the goddamn new world. But the shit can't happen until you motherfuckers submit. Until you people, all of you, remove your allegiance to whiteness from your consciousness and your behavior. And find some black woman, find some black woman-led organization, find some black grandmother somewhere, and do exactly what the diagnosis says when the son is rebellious. Nourish and strengthen the mother and soothe the grandmother. You understand what I'm saying? I'm done. I hope that was helpful. I'm teaching a class this Saturday. For those that might be interested, those that are still on the live or whatever, this coming Saturday, which is I got Saturday off. Never mind. Next Saturday, which I believe is November 5th, I will be teaching the workshop on the wonderful, magnanimous works of Barbara Moore entitled The Great Cosmic Mother. I think this is week 8. Oh my God. I think this is week 8 that we are approaching in the deep dive into this wonderful, wonderful work. So if you are interested in information about how to participate in that class, you can go to my Facebook page, which is Cassandra Floyd. And in there, I have a group, a book club group called the Great Cosmic Mother Book Club, because there's 2 Great Cosmic Mother pages. The daughter of Barbara Moore has one, and then I have the book club. So I post there the information about how to, because it's a Zoom class that I teach from the book every first and third Saturday of the month at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm probably going to do a few more lives tonight because, like I said, I got a bunch of shit that I have to purge out of my brain to make room for new ideas. I'm going to be launching 2 new YouTube channels so I can streamline information. I'll be letting you know what those are because, like I said, people be on here with no integrity and jacking and stealing people's shit. So I'll release it when I'm ready. But I have 2 more pages that I will be developing. One is going to be a health page, strictly health topics, health interviews, so on and so forth. And then the other is going to be a movie review page. I'm going to review current and modern movies from my, what I feel like is earned, dynamic, multifaceted worldview perspective to teach you how to see movies for what they really are instead of looking at them for face value. So the first movie that I will be reviewing and analyzing will be none other than The Matrix. I've spent quite a lot of time on dissecting this movie. I'm only going to be doing it from the perspective of primarily the first movie and then throwing in little bits from the other subsequent movies. But yeah, we're gonna do a deep dive in the Matrix that I have a sneaking suspicion y'all ain't gonna be happy about. That's okay. And then the next one I'll probably do is gonna be there's several that I want to do, but I'm definitely gonna do Moana. That's deep and profound, and most people miss it. And then also what's the movie with Will Smith? Oh my gosh, what is my let's see. It's I thought I had it over here. Anyway, that movie with Will Smith, child. Oh my God, and the Joker and uh, Suicide Squad, Suicide Squad, Suicide Squad, The Matrix, Moana, and quite possibly there are going to be a bunch that I do, but like the ones I've already been working on in real time are those, and a couple of others. I think like 5 to start with. So anyway, I'm going to launch those within the next 2 weeks. Both those new YouTube channels. So keep on the lookout for that. And in the meantime, I'm probably going to be going ham about a lot of stuff over the next few days, just as a way to do my little Scorpion eclipse purge, if you will. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for staying the length. If you got any feedback, King K girl, listen, we got to talk. All right, we have to talk. I am plotting and scheming out here. Okay, any of these other women on this feed, Melanatrix, the Empress, Chicana, I know who that is. She comes on my workshops every time. I'm gonna need to do like a phone conference with y'all or something, because I'm trying to pull a jack move before this year closes out. And I need disciples. Like, that's how I'm gonna put it. I keep saying I need assistance. I need a committee. Motherfucker, if Jesus can have disciples, God damn it, I can have disciples. If everybody around here is so quick to join, oh damn, Tima, I didn't know that was you, girl. Damn. Oh shit. That made my whole night. Oh my God. Anyway, I need disciples. And I'm not talking about no flicked, weird, top-down hierarchical shit. I mean, we need to be involved with our different areas of expertise in establishing a new order. I am currently actively building the temple out here, the temple of evolutionary emergence. And so like, we need to make this shit pop. Like the conversations, like I'm doing work, deep, profound, backbreaking work out here. But now it's time to like set some shit in motion, like some identifiable shit in motion. And I feel like it needs to start with something pretty intense. So if you're interested, give me a call. Oh, okay. All right, Tam. All right. I see, sister. I see. I got it. All right. That's what's up. I'm glad you joined. That's what's up. We need to talk too. I don't know if T told you, but we need to talk too. So anyway, if you're interested, you can email me. My email address is releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. Releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. Email me. I'm not going to put my phone number out on here, but if you email me, I'll send you my phone number. We can talk on the phone. But the ideas that I'm working on, like, this is something that needs to be executed this year, like before the year's end, right away. And so let's talk. Let's set this shit off. Let's make the demands clear. These are not just my demands, baby. These are not just my demands. You understand? That the line is drawn, that we are the mothers, and it has to be just like your mama would be, direct and forceful, and I mean what I say. There is no gray area. You either, again, if you are about this life, if you're about changing the world, right, then it requires one decision. One decision. to fulfill your destiny or to betray it. That is all. It's that clear. It's that simple. And the way to fulfilling your destiny, it's not complicated. It is direct. It's direct. So I can't even be more clear than that. releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. 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 So that's that. All right, I'm done for now. I'm probably going to come back in a few minutes because I want to read some quotes from the Great Cosmic Mother. I want to start doing TikTok shorts and stuff like that. I know I have to. It's a lot. But anyway, I figured I'd start with quotes from the Great Cosmic Mother because it's rocking, game changing. Those of you who are on Facebook, you can check out my YouTube page, which is is it still Iyapo Ngina? Child. I think it is. I think that if you go, you can do it either way. You go into YouTube and put Cassandra Floyd or Iyapo Ngina in the search engine, my page will come up until I have other pages. But right now, that's what it is. Okay? So I'm going to end here. Thank you so much for tuning in. I swear, one of these days, I'm going to get in front of how to make these shits 20-minute conversations without a lot of, diversions. But all the diversions are very important. So anyway, I have to come up with some kind of like closing statement too. But anyway, in the meantime, Daughter of the Fates, Cassandra Floyd. I'll see you again in the near future.